Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Abrazo Football Podcast. We got Brooks and myself, Blaine. And today, another slow week as far as action on the pitch. But in terms of chatter, movement, transfers, it's been quite the week. So let's start things off in the Serie A in Turin, where it's been reported that Paul Pogba has all but officially made his return to Juventus. Brooks, what are your thoughts?
I think at Juventus, like just along with Paul Pogba, has done an amazing business both times with him. You know, they they're getting him for a free from Man United both of these times. So I think it's good business. That's obviously where Pogba wants to be. So I'm thinking that we're going to see his best football. But I'm not one of those like English journalists that slam him every week. I think that he's been playing very good football with a very bad United side, but I do think that obviously this is going to be, getting even better football out of him, especially this year since it's a World Cup year. I'm happy to see him back.
Yeah,
though.
man. Yeah, I mean they got him, like you said, they got him twice for free, and got about at 90 some odd million euros out of him. You know. What could go wrong? The only thing, like, I have no issues with Pogba going back to Juventus. I just don't know why. I mean, I understand why he would want to, but it's a completely different team than what he left. Like, he left them, they were champions, beating everybody by like double digits to the Serie A. And now they're like fighting for fourth place. AC Milan's getting stronger, and they just won. Inter Milan's getting stronger, and they won just the previous one.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I feel like and then like Dybala left. I don't know. I mean, it's him and I guess Locatelli. It's a good business for Juventus. And I mean, if you can go there and you're not going to be criticized and the people love you and you're going to play, like you said, good football and get tons of minutes in a World Cup year and not also have the stress of getting injured in a Premier League and being abused by the British media.
Right.
By all accounts, if your family's happy and you're happy, it's a privilege to play the sport. And yeah, I mean, so I guess you went into some. So I kind of want to get your take on this. So, I mean, obviously he did win some silverware at Man U, not the highest trophies that Man U were accustomed to getting, historically. But what would you make of his time at Old Trafford?
I mean, I think that it's he himself. I think that could be kind of written off as a successful second spell there. I mean, Europa League. I don't know what else they won. Did they win anything else? I definitely they won Europa League under Mourinho. A couple cups or whatever.
Europa League was the biggest one, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like obviously that club has been and will continue to go through issues since obviously Sir Alex Ferguson left, but also it's just like, man, one manager in, one manager out. Especially this last year, it's just been. It was Ollie. It was whoever was interim. It was Rangnick. It was now Ten Hag. Like, it's just a lot to deal with, especially when the team isn't that good anyway, and your owners are the Glazers. So I just think that the British media needs to lay off with this guy. Like, they're mad at him for everything. Like, he can't even come out with a Pogmentary on Amazon without the British media saying something. So I would get out of there as quickly as possible too. So. Yeah, while Juventus might not be challenging for it every single year like they had been, the last 10 years, I do think that he can bring something to the side, and I think that obviously he's going to be happier there, and I think that that's what's most important. He knows the style of football. He killed it in Italy, and that'll probably, I don't know, make him happy, bring a couple of his boys there too. I think that it'll just be a better place for everyone.
Pog back.
Back.
I mean... Yeah, I'll leave it at that then. Yeah, but yeah, I'll just say the last thing: the hate. I just don't understand.
I'll get it.
They hate him. They hate him so much. I'm like, there's 10 other players that play for Man U, and it's okay. And this is something. Maybe we'll get into this. Maybe we'll get into this right now. I feel like, you know what? Yeah.
What?
Let's move on. Now we'll get to it later on in the segment.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on to the other side of Manchester.
Okay.
So United lost a big player. The other side of Manchester, they acquired a great player. Tell us about the transfer.
Oh man,
it caught me off guard, man.
Yeah,
I didn't see this one coming.
Same, because everybody's been talking about Rafinha, or even just like Leeds barely making it or staying above, not getting relegated this season. But out of nowhere, I mean, I think I saw whispers of it like a week and a half ago, just like randomly, like Man City want to sign Calvin Phillips, and Man City doesn't really they don't pop up. They're not linked to everyone like Arsenal is, or like Chelsea is, or Man U is. Like when Man City when someone's linked to Man City, it's like the next thing you're going to expect is that Man City is getting this guy. So I mean, that was kind of the case with this. Calvin Phillips is amazing. He's been he's Leeds born and bred. Like he's been there his whole life. He had chances to leave when they were still in the Championship, but his family was like, "No, you gotta bring Leeds to the Premiership," and he did that. Stuck with them a few years. Obviously, he's an England international. He's an incredible player. He's basically coming on to replace what's the Brazilian who's leaving? Fernandinho. Thank you. Yeah. So
yeah. You good?
So I think that he's going to be. I mean, for my money, I would even kind of. Even if, I mean, this is going to rub some people the wrong way, but in Fernandinho's prime too, like I would still take Calvin Phillips, especially in the side that Man City's putting together right now. But he's amazing. I think that's a great bit of business too. Like that's not a ton of money for one of the best, I think, like defensive midfielders in the game. It's huge. I think that's going to really be able to pull some pieces together. We've talked about this before. Like it's almost like City goes in streaks of like not being able to score. But obviously, when they like decide they want to score, they can put 5-6 past anyone. But it's almost like they're always kind of like gonna give up a goal or two a game. It's like they play so attacking minded that they're kind of always left in the open a little bit. But I think that this is going to be huge for them to help with that kind of holding that defensive midfield and that defensive back line together. So it's huge. I love this guy as a player and like as a person. So that's really good business, I think.
Yeah, man. I feel like like you said, the fee that's good business. But I always love it when like a local kid joins the club and he does the right thing.
Yeah,
and still get and then it also pays off. It's like, okay, I'm staying with Leeds. We're gonna get promoted. We escaped relegation, and now it's time for me to what is he like 25, 26 years old?
I think, yeah.
Still hasn't hit his prime. Did honorable stuff for his hometown club, and now he's like, okay, I'm gonna get a decent transfer, not like astronomical, and I'm gonna move on and start getting the credit that I need. Like it's one thing, okay, yeah, he's an amazing midfielder for Leeds. We got promoted from the Championship, and we just keep escaping relegation, and we keeping the lights on. Okay, that's cool, but you want to win stuff, like you got ambitions, and there's nothing, and I feel like no one faults you. It's like people talking about like, oh yeah, like you got to be loyal, blah blah blah. No, you did what you did. You got your team a great feat, and now you're going to go on and win several trophies at Man City, whether it's under Pep or whoever they get. Like you're guaranteed basically guaranteed success at this point.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you want this? So I'm just happy.
So,
like I wish a different team did it, but Man City made a brilliant signing, and both parties are going to, benefit from this tremendously.
Yeah,
Good
no.
for him.
And to be honest, like I don't have a problem with Man City doing this. I know that a lot of, I know that a lot of people kind of hate on City because they spend so much money and they can spend so much money and they're winning stuff now, but like they also do quite a bit for the community. Leeds and Man City aren't or Manchester aren't super far from each other. I don't know. It's kind of you hit it on the head. It's kind of they kind of did the same thing with Jack Grealish, who's the same type of guy. It's like his hometown club. He brought them back to the Premiership. Like he gave them few really good years of his footballing life. And obviously, you never really want to leave the club that you supported as a kid and that you've pulled out of the Championship or whatever. But it's good. It's the right time for him. He deserves this, and I hope that Leeds fans are nothing but happy for him because he totally deserves this.
Yeah, and let me clear it up. I'm not mad at City because I think they spend too much. I'm mad at City because I was Chelsea.
I know. Yeah, but at the same time, like, I mean, Grace jokes about it because, like, she likes Manchester. I've never been there, but she likes Manchester as a city a lot. Like, there's, like, a grunginess to it that she loves, and, like, the people are really great, and they're hard workers and this and that. And so she always jokes, like, no, I'm a City fan. Like, you can be an Arsenal fan, but, like, I'm a City fan. So at the end of the day, like, it is super fun to watch these guys go out and play. It's just they play amazing football. You're always watching all stars, superstars every time you turn on a City game, and it's just fun to see them play. So yeah, I don't know. I make the joke too that like what are you talking about? I've been a City fan my whole life, but it's just fun to watch them.
Yep. All right. What's next? Okay, so we haven't. I don't think we've officially talked about this transfer, or I guess it's a loan deal. Officially, like it's been speculated, but Romelu Lukaku to Inter Milan.
Yeah, finally
on loan for a year.
Yeah.
So this is by far the craziest thing I have ever seen in my life. Player joins Chelsea as a teenager. Loans to West Brom and Everton. They sell him. He's an Everton player. Does big numbers. They're saying he's world class. Joins Man United for about 90 million, right? Does good. In my opinion, he does good. Not great, but does good. Gets scapegoated. Can't see eye to eye with the coach. Media slanders him. Says he's plays in Timberland boots. You know, they send him off to Milan. Conte gets his man. Stars align. Almost win the Scudetto. 1 point shy. Juventus knocked him over. Second year, they win it. His stock has never been higher. Who comes calling? Team that signed him when he was a teenager. We're gonna give him 100 million. Gonna give you 100 million to enter. Pogba, or not Pogba, enter, or Romelu Lukaku. You know, he goes to the club. He plays decent. Not great. Does an interview. Coach has a falling out. 6 months later, he's joining Inter for less than 10 million euros. That's insane. How does that happen?
That's 2 really good pieces of business by Italian clubs this season.
That's insane. Like, I don't understand it. Like, here's my honest thought. And we can get into this. As a Chelsea fan and also Romelu Lukaku fan, I understand that he didn't do exactly what we thought. I feel like he got hot. He did the interview. I feel like the way the interview, like, I understand why he did the interview. In my opinion, he did the interview to appease fans that felt like he betrayed them.
Yeah.
It's like, it had nothing to do with Chelsea. It had nothing to do with the fans. And then he also said that he doesn't like the play style because they're not playing to his strengths.
Right.
And I feel like that's where the biggest debate came in, and the coach's feelings got hurt, and it was never the same after that. Now, my question to you, because I've been thinking about this a lot. So if you pay, and like we can contrast this with the Jack Grealish deal. If you pay 100 million euros or pounds for a player,
right?
Why? So I feel like people are saying $100 million player should be able to adapt. But if you buy a $100 million player, that means they are good at a specific thing. Why wouldn't you use them for that thing that you paid the $100 million for? Instead, try to change them into what you want. That's my only question. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I'm with you. Not only why do you pay $100 million to make someone try and play a totally different style of football, but also why do you pay $100 million? And for someone that age is not going to, like, they're not like in the learning development stage of things. Like, he's an established striker who's, you know how he plays and you know what his style is and you know how he gets results. You don't switch that for $100 million for a 30. Is he 30 yet? Like 28, 9?
Yeah, he's almost 30. Yeah, he's like 29.
It's just like, it's not a guy that you can like, okay, we're going to, it's not like Thierry Henry coming to the Premier League and Arsene Wenger saying, oh, you're going to be a striker now. He's not like a 21-year-old who was a winger. I don't know. I don't think you do that. Like, and I think that's just not good. I don't know, managing, coaching, whatever. Like, it's just a bad decision. You let him play to his strengths. And it's just like football. They don't let people, I don't know, like, especially with that coach at Chelsea, like, he doesn't want anyone who doesn't agree with him or doesn't think that he's a genius or whatever. Like, if you don't do what he wants you to do, then, you don't play, obviously. But I think that it was a big mistake by Chelsea.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. I'm I'm like, okay, you're the manager. You're supposed to get the best out of these players. You know what their profiles are. You play to the players' strengths that you have. You don't. It's like if you got a bunch of guys that are good at this. Like we got wingers for days,
right?
And we're not even playing them the right. Like we're not. I feel like we're playing so many players out of position in the wrong way. And yeah, we won a Champions League, and we made it to 2 league finals. So like we got good players, and it's working out. But it's like it could have been so much better.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the other part is like from like a business perspective, it's like okay, we're gonna let you go back to Inter basically for free,
right? Yeah.
What are we gonna? So we still. It's not like we were scoring tons of goals. We still have the same problem.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like that 100 million's not going away. So it's just like I feel like if I were in charge, I would have been like, listen, you two come in here, coach and player.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure out a way to make this thing work.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be a tactical,
right,
brilliant genius coach.
Yeah.
Figure out how to, like Antonio Conte had this guy scoring 30 goals. Are you telling me you can't figure that out? And if you can't, maybe you're the problem because these players, I feel like, and this is always the thing. It's like, oh yeah, this player doesn't fit this coach's system, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then that makes sense. The player doesn't fit the coach's system, get the player out. But you bought this player.
Bought him.
You bought this player. You got there. You guys won, and then he came. It's like why? It's 100 million. You could just say, I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't want him.
Yeah.
And I just, it's just I don't know. It the whole thing. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we watched. Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then people will be like, "Oh yeah, his heart wasn't in it.
Come on,
he didn't want to be there. He only did it for the money. He's $100 million player. He's supposed to perform." And I'm like, first off, a player has no say in what their transfer fee.
Get that out of here. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I feel, and this is the thing that was bugging me. Even when other players get it, they're like, Harry Maguire's an $80 million English defender. And I'm like, yeah, because they were stupid enough to pay it. No player is worth that much money. Well, some players are, but the majority, Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe might be, in my opinion, and we've yet to see Erling Haaland play in the Premier League.
Right.
But for PSG, the money for Mbappe, I feel was warranted. But most players aren't worth $100 million or even 80. And it's like, okay, so you buy Harry Maguire or Jack Grealish or Romelu Lukaku or any of these high dollar players, and it's like, if they don't do that, it's like if you got to think, if you had this player for free, would you be pissed? Or is it only because there's the $80 million?
Right.
It's you think that $80 million went to Harry Maguire? No, he's not. He didn't get
that. His bank account.
They make it seem like you just wrote Romelu Lukaku a check for $100 million,
right? And
he bought a country, he bought a small island in the Bahamas, and he's relaxing there, counting his money. And it's no, he signed a contract for big money, but he didn't get $100 million. That all went to Inter. That was Inter's though. You shouldn't have did that. That's bad business. I don't know. I feel like it's but it's you got to live up to the transfer. I'm I didn't tell you to pay this for me. I was minding my business at my own club, and you came in for me, and you said, I want to do this. And it's I didn't guarantee you that I was going to keep 100 clean sheets in 100 games.
Right.
I just, you saw me. You saw what we were playing. It's up to you to make the deal, in my opinion. It's then sometimes you get it wrong. And I feel you just got to take that, and you can't, put all this pressure. I mean, you can put pressure on a player. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying you can't put the pressure of the transfer on the player. It's because I didn't tell you to do that. It's unless there's a release clause, and it's I set this and I get so much of it, but nah, it's bogus to me. It's stupid to me. It drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely nuts. It's if you and for any of these people online talking crazy, and I'm going off. It's if you had a job, let's say you had a job, and a recruiter hit you up and they're yo, we want to hire you and we want to pay you a ton of money. No one's ever gonna. You're not gonna say oh yeah, I don't think I'm quite good enough for this job yet. You're gonna take that job even if you know you're not good enough, and you're gonna do that job until they fire you.
Right.
Or they're we see the potential and we're going to get you to where we want to be, or we're going to play to your strengths because we're paying you a ton of money. But in no situation would anyone ever blame the employee and be yo, you shouldn't have taken that job.
No.
It's no, you offered me the job. Of course I'm going to take the job.
Right.
Why would I say no?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I got. What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm with you 100%. I just think that also it's another one of these things where it's like the English media, the British media, like they need to chill. Like we saw that interview on Sky Sports where they were just like, his heart wasn't in it. You can't say that. You can't say his heart wasn't in it, especially from the beginning. Like, his heart was in it because this was his boyhood club. He signed with them when he was younger too. He's been before. He wanted something to prove. Like, he supported this team. You don't want to go to the team you support and not show up. So that's some BS. You gotta like get out of here with that. And maybe like, okay, maybe the last few months, maybe, I don't know, maybe his heart wasn't in it. Would yours be if you kept getting slammed by these guys? You weren't playing, you disagree with the coach, you were there for the wrong, like, he wasn't playing to your strengths. Like, I wouldn't be in it at the end of the day. Like, there would be a time where, yeah, I would be, worn down so badly that I'd be like, yeah, forget this. Like, I don't care. But I don't think that's happened with him, especially off the bat. It wasn't ever a matter of my heart's not in it. The matter was the coach is not playing me to my strength, which is all he said. And he was correct. My question for you is, I mean, that the Inter Ultras are wild and crazy. They were upset with how he left. They were upset with what he said. And then I just read an article that the Inter Ultras are like, yo, nobody greet him. We're still upset with how he left and like the way he left us and blah, 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 blah. Like, I personally don't think that he's going to have any trouble winning them over. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm flying out to Milan in the summer to check him out at the San Siro. He's not going to have an issue. He's going to link back up with Martinez. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Paulo Dybala is going to join. They're going to bang it. Mm-hmm. Another Scudetto. Done.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Ultra's going to be loving that man when he comes back. I give it 3 weeks. 3 weeks and 9 points. What else? I mean, you were telling me. Yeah. Well, what I was going to tell him is you were telling me you're a big-time Inter Milan fan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I know you were bashful and you thought, people were betting on whether you were going to leave Rome and go to Inter. And the odds weren't looking that good. But, I remember you told me. Tell him what you told me.
I mean, that's the rumor is that that's where he's going. Could you imagine?
Nope.